Hey guys, my name's Crystal Kenny, and I'm in love with creating. All things artistic and imagination involved. I'm an American girl who chased her creative dreams all the way to Paris, France, making a living using photography. This podcast takes you inside the stories of all the artsy folks I've met along the way and gives you that extra push to discover your creative gifts. The desire to create is deeply inside each and every one of us, and I give you the tools and inspiration to find a new way of living a more creative life. This is La Vie Creative, the podcast. My guest today has lived in Paris for almost over 40 years. She's seen a lot of changes, but we chat today about her life in Paris as a drag queen, a performing artist, some would even say a clown. I don't know what you want to call it, but we talk about the ins and outs of performing art in Paris. Please welcome to the show, Christine Flowers. So welcome to the show, Christine. I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here, Crystal. Thank you for inviting me.
I love that I bumped into you on the street and you were in love with Coco.
I did too. It was such a lovely moment, and that little doggy was such a cute little thing. It is such a cute little thing.
He's our fur baby. He's brought so many great people into our lives. Like strangers just talk to us now. That's the perk of having a dog in Paris.
I know. Oh my goodness, yeah. Well, I go goo goo for and cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs every time I see a little doggy on the street. I'd go up about 5 octaves.
That was me before I got the dog, and now like, you want to watch him for a weekend?
Yeah, I would love to watch him for a weekend. I would love to.
Little baby. But anyway, enough about Coco. This show is about you. And I want to talk a little bit about your arrival to Paris. I mean, you've been here for quite some time. You're originally from the States.
Since
your Paris story. 1857.
Yes, I'm a dinosaur. Like I told you, I'm a dinosaur. No.
I want to hear the story. Tell me the story.
Oh, Lordy, have mercy. How much time do we have? Well, I just, as you can hear, I'm an American, and I had been drifting throughout the United States for the latter part of my teens, singing and dancing and shows and everything, and finally got out to California and just was so disheartened with the Southern California vibe and everything. It just did not suit me at all, and I literally just pulled out an atlas one day, and I mean, it's as stupid as this. This is how Barbie I am. I think that particular atlas that year in Europe, France happened to be fuchsia, and so it attracted my attention, and I went, "That's where I'm going to go." And I was 20 years old, so I didn't have a lot of think on me. And I was, it was all the romantic thing. I wanted to go to the Sorbonne because I had heard about it and blah, 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 blah. But I mean, I didn't check out what you had to do. I just saved up enough money, and enough money for me back in those days was $200. I mean, it was stupid. And I got on a plane with a one-way ticket. They sold one-way tickets at that point without any kind of visa, any kind of student visa, expecting the Sorbonne to be at the airport with a red carpet, waiting for me. Nah.
I love that. That's so fantastic.
And of course, rapidly, all those dreams were dashed. I found myself, standing out in the freezing cold. And I was talking to somebody the other day about this, who's been in Paris for a while. A Parisian. And I said, do you remember back in the early 80s when like it was like in the winter, it was really cold? I mean, really cold. It was like Cold War cold, And she said, yeah, it was. And I said, well, I used to stand out in the cold in the 1980s on Rue Mouffetard and sell brownies. And of course, brownies back then, nobody knew what brownies were. And the bourgeois French women would walk by me with their noses, looking down their noses and go, c'est quoi ça? And I'd say, they're brownies, they're American, and they just walk off. And of course, I'd never sold anything, and I'd stand out there for hours and just freeze my butt off and come back to my little teeny cold apartment, crying, because I wasn't legal. You see,
Yeah.
I had just foregone figuring out how to be legal before I got here. So and then I started finding musicians because I was a singer. I am a
Uh-huh.
singer, and I connected with some jazz musicians, and one was a double bassist, and we hit it off very well. And I moved in with him, and we were boyfriend and girlfriend. And he saw that I was really, really having a hard time trying to find proper work. And
Mhm.
I think I had sat in at Harry's American Bar, and they wanted to hire me as a singer. But of course they said, we can't do anything until your papers. You can have a job every night if you want, but you've got to get your papers. And I think that
Oh,
it took me
wow.
about a month and a half of just walking around and, following leads that I had heard from people about different
Uh-huh.
American lawyers that were in Paris that could help me. Nothing came to fruition. And my boyfriend saw me coming back home, just defeated every day. And finally he said, let's just get married. Let's just get married,
Wow.
but don't tell anybody, and especially not my parents. And I said, okay, okay. So we got married. And I mean, that took, I guess, 3 weeks to put that in place, because, you have to be registered for a certain amount of days at the mairie and everything. And so we got married, and I mean, like within 2 weeks, I had a job. I was paid. I was in the system. Blah blah blah, and there you go. And
I
I
mean,
never looked
that's one
back.
way to do it.
That's why, and I know that's not your experience. I know you've got a completely different story, which is just as rich, and just as fun. But yeah, so that's how I did it, and then I just, I've been here ever since. And I was thinking about that the other day. This is the longest well, and especially even in my apartment, it's the longest I've ever been in one place in my life. I mean,
In
it's
your
going on
life.
40 years now. Yeah.
Wow. So you must
Yeah.
like it here.
I do. And you know what? I wake up every day. I mean, I know this sounds really naff, but I do. I wake up every day and I walk down, and whatever I'm doing, if I'm going to get my coffee in, my neighborhood coffee place or whatever, or I'm just walking somewhere across a bridge somewhere, I thank I thank my lucky stars for being able to live in this city. I really do. I'm so happy to be here.
That
I'm
means a lot
so
coming
happy.
from someone from 40 years. I mean, that means a
Oh
lot that you
yeah,
still appreciate it.
I do. It's just so magic. It's so magic to me. It's
And
so
how
magic.
has Paris changed? I mean, especially Montmartre, because Montmartre is supposed to be the artist district, and now it's kind of known as being like hipster Bobo area.
Oh,
Like
honey, it was
you've
so
been here.
seedy back in the day. I used to,
Yeah.
I didn't live here when I mean, I didn't live actually in the center of Paris when I got here. No, I lived for a little while on Rue de Clichy with a family. She was a
Hmm.
Swiss German woman married to a French man. Um, and they were absolutely wonderful to me. And she introduced me to Rue Le Pic. Um,
Ah,
but it was really seedy because I mean, it really was Pigalle. And, there
uh,
were, the prostitutes all over the place. We're talking, this is going back to 1982, huh? And it was
yeah,
the
yeah.
Cold War. It felt like, spy type things, and stuff.
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe that was just my imagination, but it had a different gleam to it back then when I got
Yeah.
here. And then with my husband, my, double bass jazz player husband, we lived in Boulogne-Billancourt. And
Hmm.
so I would come take the metro 2 times a week because I had my voice teacher that lived up on Rue Chaptal.
Hmm.
And she had an apartment facing the funiculaire. So I'd be in the neighborhood, about twice a week. But like I said, it was, I mean, there was a lot of artists, and it was like créateur,
Hmm.
but back then in the 80s, it was really seedy. It really was,
Yeah.
but it was funky, and it was probably grimy like New York was back
Hmm.
then,
Hmm. Well, I feel like it was grimy its whole existence until like the last 10 years,
Yeah,
really.
yeah, 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 yeah. And I mean, and it's a bit of a shame because it doesn't have When I moved here, in 1995, I think that was really the height of it. Or, because I remember the Sancerre. That was like a model bar that, like other bar owners in Paris would come to, just
Really?
to hang out and look and study what
Uh-huh.
was working for this bar. They had a handful of bartenders and they all looked like Marlon Brando's and Sylvester Stallone's. I mean, they were like really hunky guys. And about at 12 o'clock midnight, they'd get up on the bar and start dancing. And it would be like, to get a drink, you would have to, there'd be like a deep of people, 5 or 6 people back from the bar. And it was amazing. And for some reason, I found myself in there basically every night.
I can find out why.
But I mean, it was fabulous. And I mean, it was like that every friggin' night.
Wow.
Every friggin' night.
Fun. It was like the fun times. And like you said, kind of grimy, but still like gritty, and you'd meet interesting people.
Exactly.
I mean, you just didn't know what was going to happen. It was like that danger in the air.
Yeah. And I remember, back in those days, what's his name? The Nigerian singer. Oof, I can't get his name.
I'm terrible at names.
Oh, damn. Name slips my mind. The Rhythm of Love. It'll come to me. But I mean, he was I think he lived in the neighborhood, and he was always, like, strutting down the cobblestones, doing his thing and everything. And you just run into all these stars, and they were just always, in the neighborhood, but they just kind of blended in. It was very Dickens-esque, but like a modern Dickens-esque type atmosphere. It was lovely. I loved it.
How would you describe it now?
White.
Too white. A little different.
Too bobo. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's cool, but I mean, when you start seeing the same stores that you can see on the Champs-Élysées, you go, something's wrong,
Yeah, we're not going to be able to afford this place much longer.
No, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of sad, because it was such like an artist like hub, and artists are known for being kind of poor, and that's kind of pushed a lot of them out.
Exactly. I mean, I myself could never integrate into this neighborhood now if it was like my first time. Oh my goodness, no way.
Yeah. It's super expensive. It's one of the most expensive areas of Paris. And most French people just think of it as like Euro Disney.
Exactly. Well, I've got a friend, an American friend that lives in Berlin, Germany, and he's from the South. He is from Atlanta as well. And I met him over here, but he would always, every time he comes to Paris to visit me, at one point in our walkabouts, in the streets, he'll whip around and look at me with big old eyes, and he goes, it's just like Europe, Christy. It's just like Europe. It's just like Europe. It's like Disneyland Europe, huh? And it is.
It really is. You look at the buildings, you look at the structures, it's like, am I on a movie set? They're always filming movies here. It really is like a film set.
It truly is.
I think that's why we're so in love with it. I mean, I came here for the first time when I was 14 years old, and I looked up at the Sacré-Cœur, and I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. And I remember sitting at the Place d'Abbesse, and the carousel was going. There was just like this magic in the air, and I just thought, I need to come back here. I mean, I don't know if I would have felt that way in the gritty, like drug dealing times, but that was in the late 90s.
Oh, wow.
Early 2000s, yeah.
So I'll probably pat your head when you were walking by eating an ice cream.
Baby Crystal hanging out on the Place d'Abbesse. So let's talk a little bit about your creative endeavors. I mean, you sing, you dance, and you've recently taken to drag. And I really want to talk about that world, because it's become so popular. Talk a little bit about your drag character, what you've been doing, like how you entered that world.
Okay. Well, I, yeah, like you say, I'm a singer and a dancer, and I'm coming up in age and everything, and demands for my talents are becoming, less and less, and I was going, well, damn, what am I going to do? And about a year, no, it was, let's see, it was, I guess about 6 months before the pandemic,
Mhm.
a gay couple, gay married couple of mine that are from London, Mark and Chris, they came over for a weekend, and they came over to visit me, but also to visit Paris and everything. And I had a jazz gig with a guitarist, and in some kind of place, restaurant, somewhere, blah, blah, blah. And they surprised me, and they came in and listened to me. And then the next night, they really generously invited me out to go with them to the Manco Cabaret, which is a cabaret that no longer exists now, but it was on Avenue Montaigne, and it was like this fabulous cabaret.
Yeah,
Just
it
absolutely.
closed.
Excuse me?
It closed.
Yes, it closed in July of 19, I think.
Oh, wow.
So it was like right before they closed, basically. And they invited me to go out there, and I was like going, I've never heard of this place. Why have I never heard about this place? I said, what is it? And Mark Hedges, who is the director of Phantom of the Opera at Her Majesty's Theatre in London, said, "Oh, Chrissy, it's like a mixture of Crazy Horse, Cirque du Soleil, and Disneyland for adults." And I was like, wow, oh my God, why have I missed this? And then all of a sudden his eyes pop out of his head, and he grabs my shoulder, and I can see the wheels in his head turn. And I went, what? And he said, we got to get you in there. And I went, oh, good God, Mark. I said, what? Crazy Horse? You just mentioned Crazy Horse, Cirque du Soleil. Look at me. I'm an old bag. Look, what are you talking about? He said, no, we'll do it age appropriate. And I went, and I, like my little ego thing in my head is going, but I think, well, hang on, girl. This is the director of Phantom of the Opera that's proposing to do something with you. And I'm going, okay, well, all right. Okay. So I gather myself back up, and I said, okay. So I went over to London to rehearse with him, and he had asked me to prepare 3 songs vocally. And as I was working over here, preparing to go over to London to rehearse with him, I thought, well, damn, I can't just go over and just sing these songs. So I researched them, and then I found the choreography for them, because I knew there was choreography for them, because they were all 3 musical comedy songs, and they had been choreographed by Fosse and Gwen Verdon. And so I hired somebody to help me with the choreography and to coach me and everything. And then I went over to him, and I said, in our first rehearsal, he said, well, okay, let me hear what you got. And I said, well, do you want me to dance it as well? And he said, what? And I said, yeah. I said, do you want me to dance? And he said, do you dance? And I said, well, I can move. And he said, well, go ahead. So I did it.
You surprised him.
Yeah. And he, after I finished, he pulled a chair up, and he kind of sat in it. He straddled the chair, and he said, okay, we got to talk. And I thought, oh, fuck. Oh dear, he doesn't like me. We're going to get a divorce right away. And and he said, I didn't know you could do that. He said, we're going to have to rethink this thing. He said, I think we're going to go back to my original idea. And I said, what was your original idea? And he said, I think I want to turn you into a drag queen.
It was his idea.
Well,
I love
yes. And he dared me to do that. And I went, a drag queen. And he said, but all of a sudden I felt myself inside just bubbling up with excitement. I thought, oh my God, yes, of course this is going to be fun. So he kind of started the ball rolling. And as you can probably imagine, he's a very busy man. And, he set it rolling, and I carried on with it, and have continued to develop it myself with a team of people that I've since asked to be on board with this project. He's in the background. He's the godfather and everything. But it's the character's taken on a lot larger uh, personage since I saw him last,
Mhm.
and I think what's happening to her now is yes, she is drag, but she's more of a magical creature now,
Mhm.
because I work with a very talented director named Lee DeLong, who's very, very, very prolific in clown,
Mhm.
um, and very well known in the clown industry and world, but a very incredible director and actress in her own right.
Yeah.
And during the first lockdown, we had coaching sessions where she helped me develop the character and everything. So so the development of Taki Watanga has taken some right turns and some left turns and everything, and now she's more of a magical creature, um,
Mhm.
and I like that. I'm digging that a lot more. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, then to just do the drag, make it more magic, make it more, it can be so much bigger than just a drag character. And
exactly,
talk,
exactly,
talk
exactly.
about some of the values of Taki. Like, what is her purpose? Like, who is she exactly?
Her purpose is to make people smile and laugh, and to make
Hmm.
them understand what they're really feeling.
Yeah.
That's simple. And without being pretentious, I really think that that's what we need right now. It's kind of in
Hmm.
line with what we're coming out of, and I want to perpetuate that feeling and that thought process with the use of this character
Hmm.
and performing arts, and so that's basically her message. And she's wacky. She's really wacky,
Yeah.
and I chose the name Tacky, so I could have that space to make, you know, of error, and to make her anything that I could come up with. I didn't want her to be straight and narrow down the line, clean and everything. Um,
Yeah. She's
you know,
wacky and fun, and we did that shoot in Paris, and it was so fun to see people's reactions. I mean, how do people react to you as that character? Are they scared of you? Do they smile? What do they do? Especially in Paris.
I think I make I there Coco has a little bit of a rival, darling, but there's a little French bulldog on my street called Snoop, and when I was dressed up as Tacky the other day, I called Snoop's name out 5 octaves higher, and Snoop usually runs to me, but he was really frightened because I had blue hair on and very big lips, so I scared him. But I think human beings, I no, I think she's delightful. I think she delights people.
Hmm.
I went out and dined as Taki Watanga the night of the unlockdown, at
Uh-huh.
the Mascot, and um, it was really nice. There were a lot of smiles. I was greeted with a lot of smiles, and a lot of people asked, to be taken, a photo with Tacky, and it was lovely. It was really lovely.
Yeah, I think it's a way because I know, especially Paris, you don't really talk to strangers, and it's
Mm,
just like a way for people to connect and laugh and like start a conversation. It's like you're peacocking, you're starting conversations.
exactly. And I think also, because obviously it shows I'm not a 20-year-old or even a 30 or 40-year-old person. I don't know if everybody can tell that I'm a woman. I don't think I think I'm sometimes confused as a man, which is fine. It's absolutely fine, and I love that ambiguity
Yeah,
about the thing. But what really warms my heart is when I see women of my age or older, and that see me, and the gleam
uh-huh.
in their eye that Tacky is responsible for. It's almost like, oh, okay, I could do that too, and that's
Hmm.
that's really that's really rewarding to
Hmm.
to see women look at me like that, or look at Tacky like that, and
Yeah,
say,
yeah, definitely.
that really is, that's a good payoff. That's
How do you feel when you are tacky? Like, I mean, I'm sure this was like this when you go on stage too. I know a lot of performing artists and actors and singers, they take on kind of a different persona anyway when they're on stage performing. Like,
uh-huh.
as Taki, like, who are you? Do you connect with her on a personal level, or is it completely not who you are at all?
I think she is somebody that I would have loved to have been since forever. She's just not
Yeah.
afraid of anything. And if she doesn't know something, she's not ashamed of it. She just kind of plays with it and goes with it. And I would love to be that kind of person, you know.
Mhm.
Um, and just, you know, nothing's a problem for her. You know, even if she falls down, she makes it into a rumble tumble tiddly tiger. That was a dance step, you know.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
and I would love to be like that in my life all the time.
Yeah, just bounce right back up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I like how that was a really funny moment when we were filming and Coco decided to relieve himself. Yes, we were right in the middle
That's
of
right.
Bless the Dead, and
Oh,
everyone's
that's
laughing and watching, and I'm like, Coco, could you have picked a worse time? But Taki was completely okay, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's just I it's really fun just to be light and easy and to have that outlet of her personality to do that. And
Yeah, and you were singing with a band in the restaurant. I mean, it was so fun. And then an artist came up and started drawing you.
yeah,
And it was just such a lighthearted moment. And I think when we live in these big cities, it's hard to come across those randomly in the street.
it is. Well, it's almost like, I mean, Tacky is a dog. I mean, she's a dog that comes from another universe that transformed into a human being when she hit the atmosphere. So I think that's probably, I mean, that's what it is. I think she's a dog. So she's, nobody can be, well, unless you're, you know, one of those humans that absolutely hates dogs, and there's not a lot of those on this planet. But I mean, but most people that see a dog, all of a sudden they get a smile on their face and they get all excited. They want to pet the dog and they want to,
Yeah,
and that's what Tacky is basically.
I completely agree. Like, it's everyone loves puppies. Who doesn't love
Yeah,
a
exactly. Exactly.
And so, what is the hardest part of drag or dressing up in general? I mean, obviously, that's a lot of hair and makeup. We're going to share some pictures of Taki, but
Oh,
she is like big hair, big heels, lots of makeup. Like you said, kind of like a drag queen. Like, how long does that process take?
oh, it takes a couple hours. Um, and the thing that what's what the hard thing is which has happened a couple times because I work with closely with a partner, Millie Sarah Brennick, who's a wonderful uh, wig wig stylist and makeup artist, professionally speaking. And she is my right hand man, and she's basically responsible for how Tacky looks and everything.
Mhm.
She does all the styling and everything. And the times that we have shot videos or photos in my apartment, which I now refer to as the Shoebox Theater, or if we do the walkabouts like we did with you and Giuseppe, um, um, you know, I'll let her go home and I'll go, after we finished, and then I take my wig off and undo my makeup and I take my costumes off. But there have been a couple of occasions where I've let her go and I haven't been able to unzip my dress, or I haven't been able to get out of the tight necklace around my neck, and I have to sleep with them. Um,
Ah,
on.
no.
Yes, and there was one other time. It was for the video for the oh yeah, it was for the St. Valentine's video. That she decided to put heart freckles on my cheeks, and they were these little, little sequins, little violet colored sequins. They were really, really cute, but she decided to stick those on my face. And when I started taking the makeup off that night after she left, and I also have blue eyebrows, and I had bought this blue eyebrow eyeliner, waterproof eyeliner that I'd gotten somewhere, I can't remember. And I started to, and this was the first time I used it, and I was taking it off, or I was trying to take all this stuff off at night, and I couldn't, it would not come off. And basically I had blue eyebrows that would not come off, and like little freckles, little pink freckles, heart-shaped freckles all over my face. And I sent her a video of me looking in the mirror going, uh-oh, I think I'm going to have to stay inside for a couple of days before this comes off. And actually they did not come off, and for about 3 or 4 days. But I was, as we're wearing masks and everything, I just wore a hat and a mask for about 3 or 4 days. So nobody saw it, but I had blue eyebrows and pink freckles for 3 or 4
That's hilarious. See, that's the good part about wearing a mask. We don't have to really try that hard.
Honey, this is the time. If anybody has horrible dental problems, you need to take care of it now.
Exactly.
Nobody will know. Nobody will know the difference.
Oh gosh, I kind of been enjoying the mask a little bit. I don't have to think about my face anymore. It's fine. No one can see me. It's great.
I know. Oh my God.
Oh, no trying
it's pretty
anymore.
dangerous though.
It is. You're getting too comfortable. I'll have to put a bra on again. Oh God, terrifying. So you mentioned a little bit about drag queens, but then you also mentioned you're working with this woman who specializes in clowns. And it's funny because I just had this thought. I'm like, drag queens are just like big, sexy clowns.
They are. They are.
They're really like not much different.
They are. And I mean, that's what's so interesting, because this project is taking me off into different directions, different explorations of fields that I haven't yet ever explored in my professional career up until now, that are really, really giving me a good viewpoint on just how everything's really, really connected. I mean, you know, if you talk to Lee DeLong, this is the woman that is Taki's director, and she has helped me and is helping me very much in developing this character. You know, she's what is it? She said, I think it was Jacques, because she's a disciple of Jacques Lecoq, and she said, not all actors are good clowns, but all clowns are very good actors.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and it's something to that effect, and it's very true, because you know, if you can, a clown is very, very intricate. It's a very intricate discipline. A lot more intricate. It's not just the red nose. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Do you think clowns are a lot more maybe connecting to your inner child in a way, because they can be so childlike?
I do indeed. And I think they envelop a lot more of the emotions, you know, the spectrum of all the emotions than we give it credit for, in order for people to be endeared to those characters. Yeah,
because anyone can just dress up and look silly, but there's a lot of acting going on along with it.
Exactly.
And what is the role of the performing arts in today's society, in your point of view? Like, why is it important? Why do we need that?
Especially now? Well, especially coming out of this, I think it's omni-important. I really do. I think everybody is so starved for that connection. I mean, and especially that live connection. You know, the connection that we've had with television and Netflix and radio and Culture Box, or, you know, whatever we can find online, that's been very important, you know, during the lockdown. But I'm just seeing the scurry and the rush of everybody concerned to go to theaters again and concerts. And, it's that connection with, with this thing, with the music or the spoken word or the movement. I really think that, if that wasn't on this planet, oh my God, it would be a desert island. It would, It would. I mean, what is it? What's life worth living? It just spins everybody's imagination. you know?
Would you say that it's kind of connected to our purpose in a way, like this creativity or finding our purpose? Do you think that we can take
If
it
you're
that far?
asking me as an artist, I'll say yes. I mean, maybe, you know, but I believe in that. That I have
Mhm.
to believe in that to keep going. You know,
Mhm.
I need to believe in poetry and things. But I think so. I think there's a lot of, I think there's incredible value in performing arts in terms of
Mhm.
educating the community. You know, it's vast. It's infinite. It's absolutely
Mhm.
infinite, and
Mhm.
you can approach things. You can approach subjects in a way to get to people through theater, through music, through dance, through spoken word, through poetry, through books that you can't do in any, you know, not any politician's going to be able to do, for
Mhm. It's
example.
tapping into something else
Hmm.
that only we can access through those things.
Because it's storytelling. That's what it is.
Mhm.
And can everybody can buy a story if it's told well,
Mhm.
if they can
Yeah.
connect to it.
Yeah,
Everybody.
yeah. Definitely. Storytelling is what it's all about. And maybe that's why there's so much craze with social media because everyone's
Perhaps.
doing their story now.
Exactly.
Everyone's
Hmm.
got their platform, whether that's just being beautiful, drinking tea, or being
Exactly.
Taki Watanga.
Exactly. Exactly.
We have a stage.
Exactly. And I think, yeah, I think that expression like that is important for everybody. The storyteller, the person that's listening, the person that's you know, aspiring to be a storyteller, that
Hmm.
may never be a storyteller, but you know, to have that glimmer of hope, or you know, that little, oh well, you know, if I can, you know, maybe one day. I think, you
Hmm.
know, all that's incredibly rich for the human soul.
Hmm. Hmm. It's
Incredibly rich.
important. We need it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially at a time where they're taking the arts out of schools more and more.
I
I mean, we're
know.
hungry
I
for
know.
that stuff elsewhere.
Yeah. Don't
And
even.
what advice do you have for people that are searching for their creative gifts that maybe think they're not good at anything or they're not creative? Like, what would you say to those people?
Um, I know that I know it's easier said than done. But just to really banish those thoughts and just to put your head down and just be courageous and write, uh, or think, or take pictures, or do whatever it is, you know, that your passion is, that you know, makes you go 3 or 4 paces further in your passion, and not listen to that voice that says you can't or that you're not creative, because it's, you know, it's a practice as well.
Mhm.
Um and I you know, it's easy to say that because all my life, and I mean even now, there's moments, I mean there's more than moments in my day where I just go, what do you think you're doing, baby? You know what? But if I sit there, I don't listen to those anymore. As soon as I get those kind of thoughts, I immediately look around and I say, okay, what can I do to nourish this thing? So
Mhm.
I don't listen to these voices anymore. Um, it's so important just to put your head down and not listen to that, and just have fun. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the only time, especially as adults, it's the only time where we can really lose ourselves in being children again. You know,
Mhm.
finding
Mhm.
that place where you're just playing, you know,
Yeah.
and nobody's
It's all about
judging
play.
you, and you're just expressing yourself, and it's, you know, and remember how delightful that was when you were a kid. You know, you'd come back from
Exactly.
some your friend's house down the road, and you'd play dress up, or you'd play Barbies, or you'd, I don't know, you'd build a fort or something like that,
Mhm.
and how excited you'd come back to your parents and go, "Ma, Dad, that's what we did," you know. And that exhilarating feeling that we had when we did all that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of lost. And I think that's why creativity is so important because it's like the adult's way of getting back to that. We can't just run around
Mhm.
and play dress up unless you're a drag queen, that works. Or
Or not.
but there's other ways to get back. And that's why it's so important. That's what this podcast is all about, is connecting to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's great advice. And where can people connect with you and find out more about your character and learn about you online?
Well, I have Instagram. It's Instagram at Taki, TAKI _ Watanga, WATANGA. And then I've got a website under development that's a landing page at the moment, but it's Taki Watanga Paris, all attached. And I've got a YouTube channel where you can see what the kind of songs that Taki does. And that's Taki Watanga Paris on YouTube.
I love it. And we'll put all of that in the show notes. And I hope you guys will go check out her videos. She sings, she dances, she does crazy things around Paris, like going grocery shopping, hanging out.
Every once in a while, you can see me around Montmartre.
Yeah, come visit us in Walmart if you want to see her in full drag. And thank you so much, Christine.
Oh, Crystal, thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for tuning in to La Vie Creative. You can find more information on MissParisPhoto.com. And if you enjoyed this show, please feel free to share and spread the word for all my creative guests. We have the power to help them to keep doing what they love. See you next time.